Summer routines live or die by how easy they are, and honestly, if something takes too much effort, I'm out. That's why Groons is my go-to. It's my one daily pack of gummies covering my greens, vitamins, and minerals. Plus, it has 6 grams of prebiotic fiber, which is more than 2 cups of broccoli. No mixing powders, no giant pills, no hassle. I just rip open the pack and I'm done. They taste good and they make it easy to stay on top of my health, even when life gets busy. Save up to 52% with the code PODCAST at Groons.co. That's code PODCAST at GRUNS.co.
Holiday tips and fun facts from Paul, Kristen, and Dexter at Total Wine & More.
The custom of bumping glasses with the cheers came from old Rome. When in Rome, cheers!
A pork crown roast with cranberry stuffing deserves a ripe, fruit-forward Cabernet from Paso Robles. Let me help you find the perfect bottle.
Looking for the right wine for a meaningful gift? Consider me your wine concierge.
Whether you're entertaining or just bringing the wine, we'd love to share our always low prices and ridiculous selection with you. This holiday, now offering same-day delivery at TotalWine.com. Cheers!
The Russo-Souhan show, or as I call it, the Trader Russo and Souhan show. Michael, we went out, Roy Small and I went out to Berry Coffee, where they roast their beans.
I wish I went.
Bull Run Coffee, you can see I'm wearing the hat right now. Bull Run Coffee Roasters out in St. Louis Park. Best coffee I've ever had. It was unbelievable. And it was like so fresh. It was right. And we were sitting here saying, thank God Michael wasn't here. Yeah. You had a heart attack.
And that was today, right?
That was today.
Yeah, I just couldn't. With the start of training camp
we didn't
today.
really want you there. It's all right.
Man, and I appreciate the invite. I would have absolutely have gone, and I love Berry Coffee, but I just today, first day of camp, I would have been just too much.
I know. It was so good. Though.
Yeah. Breaking news, Jim. The Wild just signed Marcus Foligno to a 4-year, $11.5 million deal, $2.875 million cap hit. He missed mini camp today, or media day today, not mini camp. And the good news is that he'll be able to show up tomorrow and take part in Bruce Boudreau's grueling skate test.
He should have waited
take
a
his
day.
Picture. I know. That's what I was thinking. I'm like, he's probably doing this smart. Like, I don't even want to watch it, let alone I can't imagine actually being in it. But you know, as we've said all along, I always thought it was going to be 3 years at 2.7, 4 years at 2.875. You know, you're buying an extra year of his UFA. You know, that extra 175. It's probably more than fair. You know, now you hope that he can perform and excel under Bruce Boudreau. Bruce loves these type of players. You know, he is somebody that it's hard for these guys to get paid in arbitration. That's why he clearly didn't go to arbitration. But the intangibles that he brings, sometimes it just becomes very difficult for these guys to figure out the value on him. You know, yeah, you look at him and he's never had more than 23 points, and you're paying a guy close to $3 million for that. That seems like a heck of a lot of money. But the deal is that, you know, the physicality he brings. You know, this is a guy that was 5th in the league in hits last year. He could drop the gloves. He'll go to the net. You'll create a huge line, whether he's playing with Stahl and Coyle or Eriksson Ek and Coyle or Nino and Stahl. I mean, you know, I think that he'll be somebody that can succeed here on a better team. You know, but he did seem kind of miscast last year when he was on a line with Sam Reinhart and Jack Eichel, and clearly didn't exactly get production during that playing with those type of talented players, which is clearly a concern. But you know, now the question is the deal's done, so you can get all upset about it. But now the question is, do the Wild have enough money to manage their team this year? They only have about $871,000 left. And if you're going to put it at 13th forward on the team, that's going to eat into that. So they think that they'll get by and they'll figure it out. You know, again, early in the season with 4 days off and then 5 days off with their stupid schedule, they're going to clearly have to send guys to the minors. Like Eriksson Ek, he could get 6 goals in his first 2 games. He might have to go to the minors during that stretch just to accrue some cap space. Same thing with Mikey Riley. They're going to have to do some stuff, and what you hope is that they're not severely injured. If you're severely injured, it's hate to say it, you want long-term injuries where they could go into LTIR. If they got all these little nicks and knacks, which you shouldn't get with as little as they play early in the year, Remember, those guys, putting a guy on IR, you don't get any cap relief for that. So, they're definitely going to be in a position where they're going to be, having to figure out cap situation all year long.
I want to ask about Parise next. Thanks to our sponsors, Twill in the Edina Galleria, twillmn.com. By the way, I went out there and bought some stuff the other day and took Stacy. And what we were all saying is you need to go there and have Scott dress you.
Okay.
He's really good. And it's really nice stuff, and there's really casual stuff.
Nice.
So thanks to Twill in the Edina Galleria and Scott Dayton's staff. Thank you to Crown Bank, our longest-running sponsors, crown-bank.com. And thanks to Fixology Repair in the Mall of America, 3rd floor, up by Nordstrom's. Michael has gone on and on about John Hedges' bedside manner.
Yeah, he's very kind to his guests, You need good bedside manner when you're in that type of position. Like
or when you're dealing with somebody who drinks 18 cups of coffee.
Yeah,
you need
that's
to know
exactly
how to calm
right.
them down.
Yep. Like, we've all been like with that doctor that's just a complete jerk, and
Many times.
and you're kind of like, you want, especially when somebody's stressed when something's up with their computer or their laptop or a situation where all of a sudden your phone breaks. You want somebody that's going to be overly nice and gives you confidence, and that was definitely John. I was amazed how packed he was, and yet the way he was treating everybody. And he's like, yeah, I'll have this done with you in 30 minutes. Yeah, I'll have this done in 40. And he was the only one in the shop at the time until his coworker got there. So
I just thought he was laid back when he drank beer.
Yeah, no, whiskey.
Actually,
no, you're right.
He drank a few beers. Yeah. By the way, we are no longer doing live shows at Hell's Kitchen. I want to thank Hell's Kitchen for having us on for so long. We are actually in active talks with a bunch of places right now about all the shows on the network, doing shows out and around the metro. If you know of a good place, and this isn't just, we're not like looking for just somebody with a stage. We want to have a business relationship with a place. If you know any place that might want to have a business relationship with us, send me an email. Or if you know anybody who might want to sponsor the programs and get our, advertise with us and reach our audience, send me an email, jsouhan@startv.com. I'll hook you up with Scott Yell, our business partner. What's up with Parise?
Tweaked back. And even today when he was, kind of for pictures, you could see he was in a little discomfort. I don't think there's anything to get overly alarmed about right now, but there's no doubt.
Minnesota. Everybody's going to be alarmed immediately.
Yeah, I mean, hey, this guy missed the playoffs a couple years ago with a herniated disc and the end of the year, and so it's a concern. But people do have just back strains as well, and so he has been working out. He was skating every other day with Andy Ness, so that's a good sign that he's been on the ice.
Were you stalking him again?
What's that?
Were you stalking him again?
Yeah, basically. Yeah. That's how. Well, I mean, once you
start stalking, once
you start going out to these skates, and you immediately look at and see that Zach Parise isn't out there, and all of a sudden, your alarm bells go off. So it took a little reporting, but finally, after a week of snooping, I was able to report it. And so look, we'll see if tomorrow he's on the ice. Meeting Friday. Bruce Boudreau. I don't think you'd want to put him through the skate test anyway if he's got this issue. Right. So my guess is that we won't see him out there. And Bruce made it clear today that he doesn't know if he should be concerned yet about Parise, which to me was, by the way, a confirmation of what I reported in today's Athletic. By the way, theathletic.com, please subscribe. But I will say that the thing with Parise is when Bruce says, look, if he misses a couple days in camp, it's no big deal. Bruce really means that. He just wants this guy ready for the start of the year, and I don't think he's worried about Zach if all of a sudden early in camp, he's not on the ice.
My concern with Parise is he's just not that big a guy. Mm-hmm. And to his credit, he has spent his career going to the net and taking punishment in exchange for being able to tip a shot or get a dirty goal. Mm-hmm. And he's always been somebody who's played a two-way game. My concern, he's not a big guy. He's taking a lot of hits, and what we might be seeing the culmination of that, if that's the right word.
Yeah, no, I think it is. Culmination almost feels like the end.
No, I don't mean end. I mean the residual effect.
Yeah, no, there's no doubt that we're seeing the accumulation of
accumulation. Thank you. That's the word I was looking for.
A bunch of hits. He plays a very physical, hard-nosed game, and that's it. But this could be just nothing. I mean, this guy trains he's out of control with his training during the summer, and he could just be tweaked his back. I usually tweak my back getting out of bed. So,
but you don't go to the front of the net.
No, that's true.
I've noticed that about you.
Yeah, no. You know what I did this past weekend? What? I went to a cabin. I was like a true Minnesotan.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have to ask.
Yeah.
Did you wear slacks?
I did. Yeah, I always wear cap. Where's her slacks? I did wear shirts.
85 degrees.
It was beautiful.
And you wore slacks.
Well, not like kind of. So, yeah. Can we start over?
No, we're not starting over.
Yeah.
Keep going.
So it was an amazing trip.
Which lake?
It was Lake Superior. We went to.
Wow.
So actually, Eric Stolhansky, my buddy and his wife were nice enough. I think they recognized the stress of the last month on me, of the quitting my job, taking a new job, and just what the doctor ordered. Eric texted me and said, "Hey, do you want to come up to our place this past weekend?" So I went up to northern Minnesota. Believe it or not, I've been invited to other people's cabins before. I've never been to a Minnesota cabin in 12 years living here, and it really. The weekend before training camp, with the amount of stuff that I got going on, it was just so cool to just get away and not think about everything. I think Eric and his wife Babs would tell you I was probably still on my phone a little too much. But first of all, it's fine. Stolhansky, right?
Yes.
So I show up to his house to a bloodbath, literally, like blood everywhere. So I show up, and 15 minutes before.
Michael,
he's clearing.
Quite often when you're coming to somebody's place, they open a vein.
He did. He's clearing brush, and he's going down this like wooden bridge over this little creek, and the board gave out. He went down and went hand first right into a nail, the flathead part of a nail, and he's not. Yeah, I should have probably given everybody a little warning. And so then he had to, all right, again.
Oh, I don't want
to
to
he had to get himself up, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
he had to pull his hand out of there, and just blood everywhere.
Oh.
He handled it like a trooper. Like I would have been, get a freaking ambulance here. But we're in the middle of nowhere. Like there's nowhere, the closest hospital is essentially Duluth, which is like 80 miles away. There was I think Silver Bay or Two Harbors. But so we're just in the middle of nowhere, and so he's like, he calls the hospital like, "Yeah, do I need to come in for a tetanus shot?" He hadn't had one in like 10 years. They're like, "You had 48 hours." So he just cleans it up, and then we go the next day we drove down to Two Harbors to get his tetanus shot, and then he goes in, and then it still was wound up being delayed a day. So that was unbelievable.
He's an actor. You sure this wasn't fake blood?
No, it was 100% not fake blood, and nobody was there. Like his wife was doing errands at the time, so like it was just, I just couldn't believe how he handled it like such a trooper.
Super trooper?
Like, yeah, there you go. Like, could you imagine? Yeah, he is a super trooper. Damn it. I should have come up with that line.
Yeah. I can't believe you didn't.
Yeah. And then, it was awesome. I mean, again, we went on like some hikes and went into Two Harbors and went up that lighthouse. And on the way back, we stopped at a little grocery store so he can get like coffee or something. And so all of a sudden he points, "Hey, there's the hockey news." And then I'm like, actually, I need to buy the hockey news. And I show him my byline in the hockey news. And he starts showing all these like senior citizens online. He goes, he's like, "Hey, look, he wrote this story." And the woman's like, "No, you didn't." And I'm like, "No, I really did." And he's like, "No." And he's like showing everybody in the place. And here you are, like an actor that's been in all these movies. And from now on, I said to him, I'm going to just start going. Everybody, I'm going to start showing him the Super Troopers 2 trailer.
Yep.
It shows a picture of him, like the lead scene of the trailer is him. You'll have to YouTube Super Troopers 2. That's what I told him. I'm like, I should have showed these senior citizens that and just made them have a heart attack right there. So it was just like ridiculous. And so that was pretty funny. And we went to a place called the Trestle Inn. Are you familiar with this?
I've heard of it.
It's like I think it's Cross Lake or something like that. It's in the middle of the forest. It's easier to get to by snowmobile than it is to get to by car. And it's this incredible restaurant that was built in the 1940s out of the trestles of train tracks.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it's just awesome. Just a kind of a dive bar in the middle of the forest, and sat at the bar and ate and had an awesome meal. And it was just kind of neat to be in this kind of Minnesotan, just in the middle of nowhere. No phones worked. It took me about an hour and a half into the meal to realize that they had Wi-Fi, and then they couldn't get my attention the rest of the trip. So.
I got another question about your trip. Do want to thank Twill and the Dining Galleria, Scott Dayton's shop. twillmn.com. Also check out their stuff on Instagram, where you can really see great, beautiful photos of their shop. Cool thing is, Stacy pointed out when we went there, it's just this nice little shop with a TV in the back with a game on. It's really relaxed. No salesperson is going to jump on you. You walk in the door. You go in there, you walk around. There's high-end stuff, but there's a lot of casual stuff that I've bought and I wear regularly. And now that Stacy's seen the shop, that's where she wants to get all my clothes.
For most guys, shopping for clothes isn't their favorite thing to do. That's why Scott Dayton opened up Twill in the Galleria 12 years ago. He wanted to create a relaxed, one-stop shop experience for guys. Twill carries many of the best brands in clothing and is the only Peter Millar crown shop in the upper Midwest. Twill carries everything from suits and weekend clothes to shorts and t-shirts, or even a new outfit for the golf course. You can also put your company logo on just about anything there. When it comes to men's clothing, Scott Dayton and his staff have over 100 years of experience. Check out Twill in the Galleria in Edina or online at twillmn.com, and make sure to mention the podcast.
So you spent time in a cabin.
Yeah. Two harbors. Have you seen the iron ore, docks that they have there?
I've heard
crazy.
Heard about it. Haven't been there.
God, what a cool little town. Just the whole little downtown there.
Around more Minnesota.
Yeah, no, I mean, it really, like I said, it was such a relaxing, cool weekend to just get away. The weather was incredible. Just to be on Lake Superior, hang out with their dog Coco. All I did was feed Coco carrots. But it was kind of that fun weekend of just kind of, no TV. So it's just build a fire and listen to music and talk and, a couple great meals. So it was really a fun time.
I went to my wife's family's cabin over the 4th of July. And I got to admit, I'm like an anti-Minnesotan when it comes to this stuff. It was okay, but I never really I never got to that stage where you hear people talk about I was at the cabin. It was so relaxed. And it was like, I don't know. I guess I got to practice because I'm not good at it yet. Yeah. I'm not good at going to the cabin.
Part of it was the company I was with. Eric and Babs are awesome. But yeah, I mean, from somebody that's kind of, you live in downtown Minneapolis and you can't see the stars ever because it's so light and you hear ambulances flying by you all the time. It was just so nice to be in the kind of the serenity of the woods, looking at the moonlight over the lake. It was just an incredible little weekend. So. That was definitely fun to lead into just the crazy week that is the beginning of the hockey season.
Let's turn to some hockey questions, some Twitter questions. I'm going to kind of stack the ads in this show.
I had lunch with Mikko yesterday, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about that next.
Your name didn't come up. So.
He misses me, and he misses me. We actually get along okay now. He and I. You and he butt heads, and but he and I have butted heads. But I give him credit. He doesn't hold a grudge. He can go back and have a conversation with the guy.
And he just when you're with him, if like the average fan sat with him, I think every fan, you still might not love him as a player, but you're going to go away and just be so impressed of the character that he has.
Yes.
I mean, he is the ultimate team guy. I mean, everything is about the team and winning and. He was just going on and on about Ryan Malone to me. He's like, I cannot believe that this guy hasn't played in 3 years. He's in perfect shape. He skates unbelievably. I hope he's because I was telling him that I wrote this story in yesterday's Athletic about how, Ryan has Olympic aspirations. His comeback with the Wild signing a PTO is actually so he can get an AHL deal so he can actually in the Olympics. And Mikko's like, he should not just settle for that. Try to get an NHL deal. Now, of course, with the deal on Foligno today and Winnick here, it's going to be hard for anybody to really make this team unless there's serious injuries in camp. But it's an interesting. I mean, it's just being when you're with him, you kind of realize again that how much this guy wants to win. And now we'll see. I'm going to do a big story on him for Friday, and we'll see. We'll see if he can figure out a way to. Continue his career here because he's going into the last year of his deal, but also maybe lead this team somewhere.
Interesting. Thanks to John Hedges, our buddy from Fixology Repair. We told you about his kind of customer service. We have always enjoyed having him out to the shows and ask questions. He's a big hockey fan. He went on the Scotland-Ireland trip with Mr. Russo. So we appreciate John Hedges' support, and we can vouch for Fixology Repair, 3rd floor of the Mall of America by Nordstrom's.
There are some things in life that you just can't live without. Now, whether it's a special piece of jewelry, a watch, or even your smartphone, you want it in working condition. At Fixology Repair, we are committed to restoring your pieces so that everything works or fits the way it ought to. Watch servicing, chain repair, and broken screen replacements are just a few of the services that we offer at Mall of America. Please visit us at fixologyrepair.com or at fixologymn on Twitter to learn more. Mention this ad and get a 10% discount on our services.
Any other insights from talking to Mikko?
No, I mean, we mostly talked about, again, how time flies. I mean, we talked about, his first day covering the Wild, on the Wild was my first day covering it, and just how, how really it is amazing how much, I could write a book on him, that type of stuff. Like, you just kind of know everything about the guy at this point. And he realized, I mean, just think of it. He was drafted 16 years ago by the Minnesota Wild. Debuted, this is his 13th season with the Wild. He's seen it all. He's played with, I just figured it out today. Let me see if I can find it. I mean, this is just crazy. Hang on for a second. Do you have theme music?
No, we just sit here in bored silence while you thumb your
Is it
phone.
bad to have dead air on a podcast?
I guess we'll find out.
Since 2005, 175 teammates, 162 skaters, 13 goalies going into training camp.
And one beat writer.
Yep, and one beat writer. Good for him. He's so lucky.
Question from John Hedges on Twitter. If Winnick was Parise insurance, what does that say about both Winnick and or Parise?
Well, I mean, it says that, they're now completely convinced that Parise is going to be healthy coming out of camp. A lot of people thought this was Foligno insurance, and what I tried to point out to people is that Foligno's agent is Winnick's agent, who happens to be Cullen's agent. So just the coincidence there. But let's, again, the rationale that they brought Winnick in to scare Foligno when Foligno's agent brokered the deal,
right?
It didn't fly. So that's also, it's funny when they signed Winnick. All of a sudden, my alarm bells went up that this was that my intuitions on Parise was right, because I knew it wasn't Foligno deal. I mean, Foligno wasn't going to hold out till October 5th, right? So that's when I started to really look at it. But I will say, Bruce just loves the guy, and if there's injuries. If Eriksson Ek isn't up to par, Eriksson Ek is coming into camp banged up. I was talking to him today. He had everything that happened to him. He was slashed on the wrist. He hurt his shoulder. He was slashed on the leg. I mean, there was a lot of things that happened at the development prospect tournament.
From Cody Pollock offering an opinion here. Dumba is an awful defenseman. He never stays with his guy. It'd be fine if he's gone next year. You think that's over the top, or is there some truth in that?
Well, I mean, they're going to have to make. I don't see how they re-sign everybody. So maybe you use him as an asset and trade him. I mean, that's something, especially if Olofsson and Riley can actually develop into something. Maybe that's something eventually. I'm not going to comment on whether he's an awful defenseman or not. All I can tell you is that I thought it was interesting that Bruce Boudreau told me point blank at lunch last week that it was really him that was the proponent on Dumba staying, when we all thought going into the summer that Dumba would potentially be the guy that was going to be going via trade or expansion, and it was him that's like, I want to coach this guy because of what he brings offensively, and because he's still such a young defenseman that maybe you can, that he's going to improve defensively.
It's funny. I'm looking through Twitter questions, and a lot of our listeners are arguing with each other. So it's just hard to pick out the actual questions from the back and forth.
Probably on the Foligno deal, I assume.
On the Foligno deal, and what it means, and whether you can fit other people under the cap, whether they could sign anybody else to a long-term deal, all that. From Von Trushinsky, this is a simple one. What would have a 1-year contract? What would a 1-year contract have cost? Any idea what Foligno would have asked for 1 year?
I'm sure he would have asked for 1 year at 3, but I mean, to me at 2.25 last year, you probably could have gotten him at 1 year at 2.5 and done this all over again. But then the fear is if he explodes this year, now you got to re-sign Foligno, Zucker, and Dumba, and Koivu. So I don't think that they wanted to do that. So I think what they're doing is they're buying out 2 of his UFA years, and they're saying, all right, this guy is going to bring, remember the whole theory on getting him was that this is the type of guy that they need in the playoffs. So if the intangibles are going to help, the theory is that over the course of 4 years that his contract's going to be worth it, and that at some point he's going to get more than 23 points in a season. So I don't think that they wanted to go 1 year with him, and they certainly didn't want to go 2 because that brings him into UFA.
From Jacob Burkhart, will Seattle be the 32nd NHL team?
Yeah, eventually.
Really?
Yep, no doubt.
Is that a good?
Well, I mean,
town?
they've supported the Western Hockey League, and there's a lot of people that that have relocated there and things like that. It's very close to Vancouver, but it's a great town. I never look at it as like the success of the league. Like even with Vegas,
it's just how many coffee shops and good restaurants.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like
I love Seattle.
Yep, exactly.
From Andrew Silgen, with the long-term signing of Foligno, how does the Wild afford Koivu, Zucker, Dumba next offseason? Not much dollar coming off the books after this year.
Yeah, I mean, not a lot, and I agree. I mean, maybe they're going to have to trade one of those guys. Maybe they just let Koivu go. I mean, that could, maybe they trade Koivu at the deadline if this season goes awry. There's multiple. That's the uncertainty going in, and I'm going to write about Mikko tomorrow. And that's the thing is that Mikko says there really hasn't been a lot of talk with him and his agent. And there's still time for that, and but right now it certainly looks like if you're Chuck Fletcher now, do you sign Mikko to an extension going in when you don't know how well Jason Zucker or Dumba is going to play or what the future is? What if last year, what if Koivu doesn't even reach last year's? You remember he did go the last 20-something games with like one goal.
I know.
If I think that's correct, look
something
that up.
like that.
But so I think that even though it could tick Mikko off, and then him like I'm not going to negotiate during the year. If I'm Chuck at this point, I probably do wait. And just let's now kind of stare at the landscape here and try to figure out where all these players go, and then you'll probably have to make a move.
Savvy listener Nicholas Robinson, did you stalk Foligno?
No, he does live downtown though. So
which apartment?
No, I on the
don't answer that.
Yeah,
I was kidding.
But no, if he's talking about the Foligno scoop, no, there's the thing with all these signings this summer is and why I had him first is that you it's probably longevity. I mean, you just know the right people to talk to on these type of deals, and they're always external. They're always external sources, and I know it ticks off the Wild that I always get this like 5-10 minutes before they even file it with the league, which is actually it was like the Niederreiter or Granlund where they had a heart attack because I guess when I reported the numbers, it wasn't essentially approved by the league, and they thought that the league was gonna. I can't remember.
Worry about
but
all that little
they
bureaucratic stuff. It
Yeah.
doesn't make any difference. I used to deal with the same thing on the Twins. They get mad at me when I reported stuff. You know what? It's called being in the big leagues. Deal with it. Thanks to Crown Bank, crown-bank.com, for their long-term sponsorship of this show and the network in general. Crown-bank.com, locations in Minneapolis and in Edina.
Your banking relationship should match your lifestyle. And if your lifestyle is to live well, you want Crown Bank. You want a bank and a banker who will give you what you want and what you need without a hassle. Crown Bank is responsive. From ordering checks to making you a loan, they build a relationship with you that will help you get what you want so that you can live well. Crown Bank. It's a lifestyle choice and the place to do business. Member FDIC.
All right, here's a speculative question from Cody Pollock. Who leads the Wild this year in goals, assists, and penalty minutes? Each one. What's your just guess?
I'll say Foligno in penalty minutes.
Okay.
Goal assist Granlund, and goals. I'll go with Nino.
Oh, that's a good one. I'm not even going to guess because I'd just get them wrong. And you've already kind of gone through this, but to just wrap it up succinctly from John.
Hey, I just got my officially. I just realized I'm saying this in the air. My last official ever check from the Star Tribune just went into my bank account for $86.55.
That's awesome. So what are you buying me?
I should take a screen capture and just like, this is it. This is it. It's so sad.
It's nice for you. Nice
yeah.
you get a
no,
week's
that's
salary.
look at that. It's like a gift. I had an expense check coming that I didn't even know.
We're going to be hiring you back in 3 years, Michael.
Let's not even joke about that,
What
Jim.
do you want to joke about the Star Tribune? I'm just firing back.
We don't want to joke about that.
No,
We're
we
gonna.
don't. I wish
Athletic is going to be an unbelievable success. The way I figure, they've committed to me, and now it's my job to make it a success. And what my job is to make it a success is to hire really good people to come over to the Athletic, both freelancers and full-time people, and cover the Wild like I always cover them. And so, man, to me, they've done it. Like now it's up to me, and that's and hopefully the listener here to subscribe to the Athletic because it is unbelievable journalism. I mean, it really is. The writers at the site to for a year to pay $42. I mean, that's that's a 7 out on a craps table.
Yeah. Well, I'm in favor of anybody who supports journalism and pays writers. So I hope it succeeds, and I hope my paper succeeds. And I don't think that's a mutually exclusive.
I mean, just think $3.49 a month. I just spent $3.60 for a venti americano coming over here.
You know, I'm out of coffee jokes with you. I just have none left, so I'm gonna let it go.
Just saying.
From Maggie Dubé or Dube, the Habs have GPS system in the skates in camp to evaluate all skating, and they adjust to the errors made. Do the Wild have anything like that?
That's a good question, Maggie. I'll ask Maggie on Twitter today. Told me she was a Habs fan, which I didn't actually know. I'll ask their strength coach that tomorrow.
Darren Walker asked, Chicago and Pittsburgh dished out huge contracts to two top players after winning the Cup. Wild and Edmonton before. Do you think the Wild is jammed?
Well, I mean, look, the contracts end at a certain time, and there's a market for these guys. And so if the Wild don't do it, they got to get rid of Niederreiter and Granlund, and then you're starting over. I mean, so have they made their bed? Yeah, they better hope these guys are all good. And hope if they're not that they're tradable contracts, and that's why there's always a way. If Dumba and Zucker and Koivu and all warrant a contract next year, there's always a way. Whether you trade a Coyle, whether you actually trade a Niederreiter or a Granlund, there's whether you look at one of their defensemen. I mean, there is always a way to get stuff done. It just sometimes it's kind of you make. There's always a repercussion for every decision you make, and so you got to make those things. But in terms of Pittsburgh, I mean, usually it depends when the contracts are up and how they get paid. And in this day and age, I mean, the one bad thing about the adding the salary cap in 2005 is or 2012. When did that? It was I can't even remember at this point. But the point is that you sit there and you get cost certainty, and now what you do is instead of paying these guys when they have proven something at age 27 or 30 or whatever, like it used to be 31, now what GM started doing is paying these guys going into their second contracts, their home run deals, and that changed the market for everybody. And so while Nino and Granlund weren't their second deals, they're making their money early before they potentially prove exactly who they are. And now everything's a gamble. You're just praying. And so, you can. I would say that they're jammed not because of these guys. They're probably jammed for a couple 13-year deals they gave out as well.
Yeah,
so
I would say so.
But that was a convoluted explanation.
That's okay. I took a little nap. Any other Wild news? Anything else from your day at the X? Anything else you want to mention?
No. Jerseys look sweet.
Do they?
In person, they look really neat. Boudreau is so candid as usual. Jim made it extremely clear that the Wild, in his eyes, wiped away all good last year with the way that they played it, the way that they finished in the playoffs, and so his goal is good is not good enough, and their goal this year is to freaking, I know fans, even I'm like roll my eyes, but take the next step. Last year I did have to look up
fight
today.
Till the end, maybe. How about fight till the end?
I did have to look up so good isn't good enough is their logo, is their motto on the T-shirts this year. So I'm like, God, I feel like it was similar last year. So I went back into my first story last year, and it's our time. I'm committed, or something, or I'm committed. It's our time, or something, something like that. So kind of the same. I think there's going to be cynicism in the air until they actually do something in the playoffs.
So another decade.
Yeah.
I got the Russo groan. That's all.
In 10 years, I'm going to be talking about how bright the Wild's future is, and Mike Burgoyne is going to be tweeting me about how bad their Iowa team is, and they have no prospects. That's going to be the future.
And you'll be working.
That's my future.
And you'll be working at the Star Tribune.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Every time you do that,
you have a heart attack.
Hurts.
I know,
and
that's why I do it.
And a couple weeks ago, I was like, I was diagnosed with a fused bicuspid aorta.
What the hell's that?
Actually, we should take that out because my mother listens. That's going to be the worst phone call tomorrow.
She stopped listening by now.
Yeah.
What the hell is that?
I don't even know. Everybody has a try. Okay? I got to buy.
Are you all right?
Oh yeah, I'm fine. In a couple years, I might not be. I'm told I have to get an echocardiogram every 1 to 2 years indefinitely. So anyway, You know why it actually? So actually, I mean, it's a great story. I can't believe this because it's the first day of camp on Friday, and my mother's going to call out to listen to this, and I've known about this for years. But no, like 4 years ago or whatever, when I had the incident in Phoenix where I wound up on the table.
My favorite Russo story.
Just to be careful. My doctor put me through a stress test, one of those nuclear stress tests and an echocardiogram at Minnesota Heart. And then Dr. Thiessen, amazing woman, Norma Thiessen, go see her. She's incredible. She's like, I really think you have a bicuspid aorta. So just, every 2 or 3 years, you got to get another stress test or echocardiogram. And she's like, you probably won't need to worry about it, but you probably will. So then I realized I never had the echo again. So I go to Abbott to get the echo done a couple Fridays ago. That was when I told you that I went through the whole gauntlet of things because my insurance was ending. I'm like, I hit my deductible. So I went for the echo, and then the woman, a really nice woman that was performing the echo, she's like, I really think that you have a tricuspid aorta. I feel like I see it, but you know what? They might be fused together, which is what the issue is. So it's like technically 3, but it's functionally bi, is what they call it. And so anyway, Dr. Thiessen confirmed that I do technically have 3, but two of the leaflets or whatever are fused together, so it looks like a peace sign. So eventually, as long as right now everything's. This is way too personal, right?
I've always considered you functionally bi, by the way.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, that came out wrong. So right now the blood's flowing perfectly through there, but one day it might not. And then,
damn,
I better make sure I got insurance from somebody.
While we're sharing, one of the reasons I had really bad back problems there for a while is that my doctors, when I was a kid, told me that I had congenitally fused vertebra or something like that, and they told me, don't lift weights, don't play basketball, don't run on hard surfaces, don't run long distances, don't play contact sports. I ignored all of it.
Right.
And then it caught up to me about the age 27.
Yeah. Well, good luck.
Nothing better.
Actually, during that silence, I was just thinking about, wow, that was just so much information.
It was so much
shared
information
on the podcast.
And, it's
and I'm the one that's going to have to, you know what? I'm just going to have my mother call all the listeners out
Let's
there
do that.
to deal with it. You know what I'm going to do is I'm going to have my mom call Vicky.
That is how we're going to handle this from now on. Vicky, it's on you.
Yeah.
Pretty little city built on a hillside. Music in the bars and fire in the sky. We went to the beach and it was covered in ice. And I used to call it home. So much coming out, there's nothing going in. I know that you feel like you're never gonna win. Oh, but the world won't forgive a winner.
How do you keep your family healthy this season when it feels like everyone around you is getting sick? I use Sambicol. It's drug-free and scientifically tested to help support your immunity. Sambicol has the power of black elderberry in every purple bottle. It comes in tablets, syrup, chewables, or my kids' favorite, the great-tasting gummies. So this cold and flu season, support your family's immunity with Sambicol Black Elderberry. It's the only one I trust for my family. And best of all, my kids love it too.
Excuse me, Captain. This is your wake-up call from the new TracFone Wireless.
What's that now?
What if you had to fly this plane while sitting back in the cabin?
I wouldn't have any control.
Well, that's what it's like going with some wireless companies, but TracFone Wireless gives you control. Get unlimited talk and text on America's best 4G LTE network starting at $20 a month, no contract. Plus, unlimited carryover data with active service.
That's cool, but how'd you get in my cockpit?
This is your wake-up call, people. The new TracFone Wireless. Now you're in control. See terms and conditions at TracFone.com.